The Valorant Dapper bass is one of my absolute favorite budget-friendly bass units I've ever tried, and I used one extensively both here in the studio and playing live as well. So you can imagine my excitement when I realized that there's a mini version of the Dapper now, and this one is provided by Tampere Musiikki. I'm just borrowing it from the store and then it goes back to them. But yeah, there's a mini version and we're gonna unbox it right now. Come on, trying to not to break the package. So like this, and there you go. It is truly mini. Not that the previous version was big on it like that. And to me, what they did there was taking the bigger Dapper and just slicing away the parts that I didn't really enjoy about the bigger Dapper unit. And they kept the three that I absolutely loved, which was boost, bass amp, and chorus. Those were the three things that I used on the bigger one. That's it. Some other things that I'm missing here are a small display, and there's no throughout anymore. The bigger Dapper has like in, out, but there's also like through, so you can run this thing into a power amp, for example, or record both affected signal and DI as well, but you can do that here. There's also an aux input and headphones out, so this is a killer practice rig as well. On this side there's still the XLR out. The unit still feels really solid, well built, all the knobs and everything, like all the foot switches, everything feels solid. 9 volts DC. Also what's in the box is just a manual and a power supply as well. This unit actually is under 100 euros or so. Alright, I've plugged in my Sterling Stingray bass. First of all, there's a tuner, which you activate by holding this. And this is a very clever one because they use these 3 knobs that light up as indicators. And this actually shows you what string you are tuning, which is just a really cool design. D, which is slightly flat. It's actually tuned it to E. And now it's in tune. I'm gonna start with the boost comp thing because this is one of my favorite things about the bigger Dapper. Controls roughly at 12. It's really, really good. Maximum comp. Really kind of levels out everything. I like that as well. Maximum boost. I'm gonna back down the compressor. Again, sounds really, really good. When I was using the bigger Dapper, I pretty much always had the boost and comp on, but like at medium settings, at max. So it's kind of leveling out some of it, adding a little bit of a drive and stuff like that, but it isn't like too obvious. Just helps bass to cut through as much as needed. Then there's the bass amp as well. Let's take the boost comp out for now, so you can hear what the bass amp does. Back down the gain. EQ roughly at flat. And from what I know about the bass amp, I think it goes for the sound of a classic Ambec room. The EQ here is quite powerful. We want to have some sort of scooped sound, for example. We can also increase the gain. And how much gain you can get out of these two? So it gets gainy, but it's kind of vintage gain, if you will. And the third thing that I absolutely loved about the Big Dapper, the chorus. I have never ever before played that riff, so maybe me playing this badly won't get me demonetized. We'll see. And if we combine all three of these just for sake of it. Alright, I think we're established here that the Dapper sounds good here in the studio, and I'm happy to report that this translates to live playing as well. I've used the Big Dapper extensively over the past year or so live, and it just works. There's something about the boost combo especially, which adds exactly the right amount of kind of drive and shizzle and everything like that with this bass especially. And it just helps me to cut through in a sometimes dense band mix where there's a bunch of keyboards, guitars, stuff like that. It just works. And actually I was so confident about the tones I was getting with the Dapper and my bass over here that when I was asked to join the band that would play on national radio, I just picked my bass. I again borrowed the Bigger Dapper from my friend and used that, and it just sounded really good even though we had quite a lot of instruments going on. Here's a clip of that. So I think conclusion here is that if you're working on a budget, this or the Big Dapper, killer choices. And also if you need a fantastic backup rig, this thing is tiny. And in my experience, I found the Big Dapper reliable and just very sturdy. It's well built, and same seems to continue with the mini one. It's just smaller, fits in your gig bag or anything like that. A killer backup rig, or maybe even a main rig. Personally, I would probably be fine with just this one because these were the three things that I liked on the Big Dapper and didn't really use the others. Maybe having a display for the tuner helps, but not sure. This thing works really well as well. The only thing I am missing from this is the through output, because that allowed me to send the mixing engineer both the DI signal and the affected signal as well. That is missing from here, but otherwise it does everything I want. And if you're interested to get your own Valiant Dapper, there are affiliate links in the description. And if you're shopping in Finland, support local stores and get your Dapper from Tampere Musiikki. Links to all of that in the description. If you got any questions, be sure to ask those in the comments. Thanks so much for watching. I shall see you next time.